Okay with recording, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't hear Jane.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, I can now.
It's because
Yeah.
I forgot to switch my mic on. Been a long day.
And it's transcribing as well. Okay, Carl is at the side of me now. Hello.
Hi, Carl.
Okay, before we start, I just want to get a couple of points across. Today has been horrendous with feedback I've had from leaseholders. Everyone is really, really pissed off. They feel like we're not responding. They feel like we're not doing anything. They feel like we've fallen into a trap with Watsons whereby they've done a bit of a con job on us. Now, when we did the minutes from the Watsons meeting, we tried to make it neutral and factual because from our point of view, we can't quite afford for Watsons just to walk away. And we did explain in the AGM the other night that our intention was to go into this with a view of replacing them within 6 to sort of 9 months. But the feedback I'm getting today overwhelmingly is people simply want Watsons gone.
Well, that's fair enough, but I think 6 to 9 months is too long. But we do need, before we can get rid of them, we've got to find somebody to replace them. So,
well, that's also that's a good point. And one of the reasons I wanted to get this meeting organised as quick as possible is I'd say there's a lot of nip-nap and triv on that WhatsApp group, the directors' WhatsApp group, that we simply need to get rid of. I don't care what happened 2 years ago if it's nip-nap and triv. We need to be using that more strategically than we are at the minute, I personally think. But separate to that, what I can tell you is that I've had conversations with Williams Property Management, who run Valley Mill. As we sort of agreed, we would reach out to them immediately following the AGM and a couple of others. Williams have declined at the moment to really consider taking the site on the basis that they're trying to downsize and they've got resource issues and don't believe they could offer us a decent level of service. That's not to say they wouldn't reevaluate in 6 or 12 months' time, but presently they're not willing to do it. Now,
They probably also realise that it's a nightmare.
Well, exactly.
We did the same with Valley Mill, but we're in a really bad situation, and we turned it around. It's just we don't want a commitment that we don't have the resources to provide the same level of service and turn it around essentially.
Just for the record, that's Carl Lawson speaking because the transcript's obviously recording it as me. So that's where we're up to with William. Separate to that, we spoke to Paul Wright from, I want to say Zena Property Management Services. Paul used to live in the building, and he's got some experience of it, and they are quite a reputable company. He's happy to come and start doing a formal assessment of the building. Separate to that, we've had conversations with Town and Country or Town and City. I keep getting the name mixed up. They're happy to do the same. They run Clare Hall in Halifax. So in total, and I know James, when he joins us, will tell us that he's in touch with someone as well.
Stu,
yeah.
Ronald, Stu, can you send me an email link, please? Teams, Ronald.
Stuart, is it fair to say that anybody that's looking will be of the same opinion that at the moment they've taken on an absolute nightmare until it's in more of a straighter condition?
I think, to be honest, what we need to do is let those people come in and assess. Can I ask a favour, Jane? We'll pause it for a tick. I'm struggling trying to add Ron to the Teams call. He's already had the invite, but I'm struggling trying to add him to it. Can you add it? Can you add him?
I'll try.
I also don't want to disable the transcribing function.
I could try resending him the invite.
Can you resend it to him?
He said, could you send him another email? So.
Not letting me add him as
Right, let me just find the email.
Just while everybody's chuffing about, can I just say it's really good to see Sally on here, because I know you had massive reservations, didn't you, after everything that's gone on? So I'm really glad that you've done this.
Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you for saying that. I do still have massive reservations, and seeing everything that's been going on and all the stuff that's come through, I just feel completely out of my depth with it. My aim was to get you all there. I've got you all there, and I don't feel competent to be involved in any of the big stuff. I'm happy to get involved in the communications side, but the rest of the stuff, it absolutely scares me to death, to be perfectly honest. But I'm here.
Honest,
but I'm here.
I'm
Against my better judgment, I'm here. So.
I'm kind of a little bit with Sally on this one. Jane, any joy with Ron?
I'm trying, but I can't. It won't seem to let me forward it.
He won't let me either.
Could I send? Would it work if I tried to send him one?
You try, Sally.
Yeah, will do. Weird, is that?
I'll let Ron know.
Right, ronnieely@hotmail.com. Okay, you'll all end up getting another invite for it if I do it this way.
I've just sent it. I've just sent it through.
Okay, I've sent one as well now, which you'll all get. So, no, just to reiterate Sally's point, I mean, I was quite shocked when we went into Watson's to find out some of the stuff we found out. I am a bit concerned. Jane did a very brilliant job with the minutes. And I sort of added a little bit to them and then thought we'd get it out there for everyone to have a look at. I am a bit concerned that maybe they come across a bit too neutral for what people are looking for, certainly in the light of, looks like Ron is now joining. So I am a bit concerned that they come across a little bit neutral, and it seems that people are, hi Ron, people are looking for something different than a 6-month kind of time frame. It looks like people are really, really keen to have an immediate transition.
You can't do that because, I mean, have we established how long contract they've got?
I checked what's up again today. And I think I'm going to be honest about this. I am quite frustrated with some of the leaseholders because I just think, hang on, guys, it's only a week since the AGM and it's only 3 working days since we had the meeting with Watsons. There's got to be an element here of give them a little bit of time to come back to us with the stuff.
Yeah.
I have also sent an email to Ian today and put you all in copy where I basically said, what the hell's going on? Where is this very basic information, including your contract? And I think in whatever we do send out later, hopefully tonight or tomorrow morning to leaseholders, we need to be saying that actually we are chasing for the information, blah, 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 as well as a summary of that we are talking to other management companies.
Sorry,
James, we can't
am I correct in thinking that after your meeting, he's not come back to you with any? Hello?
You're breaking up.
Nope. Let me turn the video off then. Is that better?
That's better.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. That's better.
Has he come back to you with any information?
I've had nothing.
Has he not come back with any information since the meeting?
I've had nothing back. I sent the first chaser today. James, we can't hear you.
James, can't hear you.
Up a bit from him today. Can you hear?
James, we can't really hear you. Maybe unplug your headset and just use the computer.
I'll try. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
So am I right? So he's not come back with any information?
I had nothing from him. I had a limited feedback from James Thompson, but nothing really significant, and I've had no real information provided for any of the documents we asked for.
Right. So I mean, Ian Ormond's actually come back to me today, for the first time in about a year. So I've kind of been, again, I've been asking questions for a long period of time. He's actually come back today, dare I say, offering me money off. Take it whatever way you want. I'm not due any money off. So I'm kind of, Paul, you've had issues in the past, haven't you, with service charge stuff where they were unrelenting?
Just to give people context on this, James, you've obviously got a service charge dispute with them at the moment, and they've come back offering you a sum of money which they're prepared to cancel. That's correct, yeah?
That is correct, indeed. And the point being is, well, I'm not due any money back, but nor am I, as far as I'm concerned. I shouldn't have any, because they've not been answering my questions for like 12 months now. So they're still not answering my questions.
It's not money to give back either.
Not their money to give back. No, it's not. So I don't know what way you want to take that. Is that the first offering I've had?
Sorry, James. Who was it that emailed you? Because I missed that. You broke up.
The what? Sorry, Ian Ormond. I've had an email off Ian Ormond today.
Right.
Well, what I've said is I've been emailing the guy for 12 months. I would have expected that he'd be emailing you guys extremely important information from that meeting on Friday, but he's come back to me for the first time in 12 months. I understood he's on holiday as well, is it?
Well, that was my understanding.
I thought he was on holiday.
He's obviously keen on getting in touch with me anyway.
Stuart, just to go back to your point about the fact that leaseholders are not happy with the lack of progress. It's only been a few days and they're going to be unhappy for a while. We're not here to please them, we're here to get the job done. And I think certainly for the first month or so, we can't do anything. It's going to be just information gathering. If we actually do anything proactive and physical, it could be the wrong thing without all the information. So there's going to be quite a period of getting everything together before we actually decide what to do with it all. So they're going to have to just pipe down and accept that it's under control and that it's in the right direction now.
Yeah, but I don't think they will accept though. That's the problem we've got. But look, that aside, when you say information gathering, what information? Because I wasn't at the meeting, so I don't know what information is being gathered, and what the timescales that we gave Watson's to give the information.
Okay.
Have you not read the minute? James, have you not read the minutes?
Well, I have, yeah, but I didn't see any timescales that they had to reply by.
No, because they didn't give timescales at the time. The timescales were requested today because they hadn't come back to us.
I think people, and I keep saying this to different leaseholders I spoke to, please keep in mind we had an hour with Watson's. And I think what we actually covered was a lot. I'm kind of interested though, Nick. You obviously you've read the minutes today for the first time.
Yeah.
Do they come across as mamdy-pamdy? Do they come across as we are pandering to Watson's, or do they come across as fairly factual?
They come across as factual, and they come across as playing a game sounds cunning, because that's not what it is, but they come across as being as polite as we have to be in this situation. There's no point in being arsey with them, because they can be arsey back, and at the moment, we need a lot of information out of them. So it's important to play the white man and just be polite and do what we need to do, because being rude will achieve nothing at this stage. We're all aware of what's gone on, but being rude won't change anything. I think they are perfectly professional. It sounds like it went well to me.
All right. I beg to differ a bit. I'm not saying be rude, but I've had an email back from Ian Ormond, and I've got information, or I'm getting to the point where I'm getting information I want.
No, but Stuart's question to me was, were the minutes a little bit soft and mamby-pamby? And my answer is no, I think they were just professional.
Okay.
Right, okay.
Can we quickly wrap up this minute situation then? Is everyone happy with those minutes?
Yeah.
Yes.
I personally am.
Yeah.
Paul?
I haven't actually seen them. I don't know why I've not got them.
You're on the email, Paul.
I've missed them. I'm tied up at work on something, so if I've missed them, I apologise.
Right. In light of that, I propose that maybe we send them out with a few slight modifications here and there, maybe just saying 6 months rather than 12 months, which is in line with what we all said in the AGM. And I think we just simply get both sets of minutes issued as quick as possible with a covering note just assuring leaseholders we're not committing to anything long term. Our intention is for us to be able to go in there, go through things, blah, blah, blah. But whatever we put in this covering email in the minutes, it's going to get back to Watson's anyway. And we also stress to leaseholders that we've, in the past few weeks, the past week, we've engaged with 4 separate management companies potentially. And we're in the process of arranging for site visits, blah, blah, blah. Does everyone agree that that's a good idea to sort of get that information out there?
Yes.
What you're saying, you're engaging them for 6 months to ask them for information.
No, what we're saying is that we want to get it in 6 months to a tender stage. But it's going to take us 3 to 6 months to evolve that process.
I don't think you need to put a time limit on it. I think you've got to say you've got to give us at least a couple of months to review the situation, to ascertain where we are actually and how we move forward, and address some of the pressing matters, i.e. insurance, building leaking.
I agree. You don't need to put a timescale on it.
So
We're all
in
on
the
30
minutes
days
we
notice
redact,
with them.
not redact, but we simply change that aspect, the time frame. We just put a few months. There's no immediate desire to change, but we are looking to evolve this as quick as possible over a few months time frame. Yeah, we all agree?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
There's got to be a time.
can you hear me now? Is that better?
Sorry, James.
Yeah.
There's got to be a timescale, Stuart.
So-
What we give them to return this information.
Yeah, and I think that's a slightly different question. When we ask a question, we should be saying to Watson, we need a response to this within 7 working days or 5 working days.
Yeah,
But the response to the leaseholders shouldn't have an actual timescale on it at the moment because we can't give one.
There's too many moving parts. We can't be pinned down at the moment. It's brand new to us, and there's too many moving parts.
No, you're right. So I think it's 2 separate issues here. Yes, we need to be saying to Watson, you've got a time frame to respond to us. That addresses Ron's point. And for the leaseholders, we need to be saying, look, we're working to evolve this as quick as we can over the next few months to a tender stage. Yeah, we're all in alignment on those points.
Just say as it is, Stuart. We've applied, we've asked them courteously for information. So far, we've had nothing back. Statement of fact.
Yeah. And that I'm fine with. It's still a bigger question.
Can I state fact as well that I've asked them for information and I have had a response back. So I've asked them for information today, and within 5 minutes, I've had a response back. Can we state that as well?
Yeah. You see, the other thing, Stuart, I'm a bit worried about is you mentioned now that 4 management teams have been approached and everything. I'm just a little bit concerned that we're not all in this loop, this communication loop.
The problem is actually a lot of it, Ron, has been on the WhatsApp group, but because the WhatsApp group is getting full of shit.
Yeah.
People aren't spotting it.
Yeah.
I can't find these meeting minutes that I'm supposed to have been sent. Who sent them?
Me.
I did. Oh, Jane
Both,
did.
we both did.
Stuart did. Let's have an old look. I can't find them.
Can we not?
But this was the reason for this meeting, so that we could all get together and decide. Okay, so we've got 4 management companies. I can send the details out, and we need to arrange who's going to be available. Sorry,
I've got another management company, the one that's at the up by Mazda.
Because as I said before, trying to manage things through that WhatsApp group ain't working for me at all. There's too much shit on there.
Can't we set up an email address, Stuart? Where Watson's formally get back to the board of directors. Like the Mimco boys had one, didn't they? Can't we set a separate one up?
I don't know if they're going to charge us for that. We can ask the question. But
Can
the
I just
idea of
try and intervene there? When I spoke to Vicky, she said that the direct, I know if we don't want to use it, but we did say we wanted access to it. the director's email address, she said, I'm sure can be sorted out and turned over to you. And it's the guy at Watson who's their technical guy that we need to speak to sort that out.
We'll just do that and change the password.
On the email I sent to Watson's today, I've asked them to clarify who's administering it. And hopefully we'll get a response, and hopefully we can then use that email. But just going back to the initial question there from Ron, which is everyone's not aware of these management company things. So we also invited in the meeting, if you recall, for all leaseholders, if they know a management company they want to suggest, give us the details, we'll reach out to them. So the purpose of this meeting is to basically quickly update, well, part of it, to quickly update everyone that these are the companies we've approached, and to go forward to coordinate who can be available when and where to help show them around the mill. And that's something we need to evolve going forward. But as a quick update, we've so far got 4 potential management companies that we've spoken to, 5 with the one that James got. And this is why we're having part of this meeting.
And who's showing them around?
One person needs to pick up and keep the
Exactly.
flow. You don't want 5 different people showing 5 different companies around.
No,
No, I
we need one
agree, Paul.
person. We need one person really dealing with it, so they're giving them the same information.
I think the obvious.
So I'm 10 minutes away.
Well, I would propose if you and because Carl's also got a lot of flexibility. If you and Carl are happy to be the point people in that, I propose letting you and Carl do it.
Who said they do? Is that James?
James, but
Yeah.
James, you need to get rid of those headsets. They're not working, mate.
You're fine with them.
James, the headset's not working. You need to get rid of it.
You hear me?
You
Yeah.
can hear now. So I reckon if you and Carl are happy to be the point people on site that can meet together and go around with the various people as and when we coordinate with them to come, I reckon that's the way forward.
And to get the pictures sent to them so that then we can have somebody praise it, because I don't want to be reading 5 pictures, depending on how big they are. And by the way, while he's gone, I haven't got these meeting minutes. I've looked, so I don't know what happened there. If I could have another set from someone, that would be handy.
Yeah, Paul, I'll send them you over.
Thank you.
So. Okay then. So.
So after our meeting tonight, who is putting together the covering email and the minutes to send out? Because I do think the direct should be sent out to all the directors first, just to confirm that everybody's happy with them. Very quickly, I like, here they are, and if you haven't responded by tea time, it's tough.
Well, everyone a minute ago said they were okay with them, other than Paul that hadn't received them, didn't they? Everyone said they were okay with them.
Right.
Oh, not what I mean. As I said, there was a couple of amendments I sent forward. I don't know if that's been.
James, Stuart has put those in.
Right.
Well, no, I saw, but I amended them again.
After he put the notes on.
Yeah, I sent an email.
He's got a couple of changes he wants making, which I'll make to them.
So is it better then, Stuart, for me not to send them to Paul and wait for you to make those amendments and send them all out again?
Yeah, after this meeting, I'll
confusion.
quickly make those amendments and I will send them out to everyone.
Right. My question there is, who are we sending them out to? Because we haven't got the list from Watson yet of all the contacts.
We haven't got the list for Watson's from the contacts. So I think we're going to have to use your existing contact list or the one that Julie's developed. We send them out to that with the note that we are current, and again in the covering email we address the fact that we're still waiting for the contact details from Watson's or Mimco, the former Mimco. And if we've missed anyone out, we will be sending a subsequent follow-up with the same details.
I will ring Watson in the morning and see if we can get hold of the list tomorrow for that. Because it's crazy. We need that because we need to get in touch.
It's-
We get hold of the people that aren't on our side as well as the people that are.
Yeah.
We no longer need to keep people on side though, as in we spent all that time trying to get people on our side. Now we need to just get a job done. I don't want to spend too much time just reporting everything back to them when that time could be spent actually making progress.
Yeah, but we promised to be transparent, and I think we need to get something out to them now.
Oh, I agree, but
we've had a
whether
meeting and we're taking some action.
no, I agree, but can I keep changing the minutes and adding a bit and knocking a bit off? It doesn't really matter, does it? As long as we've got a gist of what was done, crack on. Let's make some progress. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I
Should
will
we?
say this much.
Well, I wouldn't. You have to keep people here.
What I wanted to say is, can we have someone like who's very tenacious and active to get on at Watson and say, right, as a result of the meeting, we need A, B, C, and D, and we'll get that information for us. Not looking at anybody particular on, but you seem good at doing that.
I think Ron is a good choice because he seems to have a less threatening approach with Watson's. But you know what? Again, I'm perfectly happy for Ron, and I guess everyone will be because it's not down to me. But I think we should consider Ron and James working coherently on that one.
Send me the salient points over.
Okay. Going back to Nick's point, I do agree with Nick that we can't be in a position where we're spending 2 days back and forth. I want this adding, I want that adding. Jane did an incredible job with those minutes as it was. I added a little bit to them just to flesh them out in places. We can't waste 2 days. 2 days that we can be better spending actually solving the problem.
Exactly.
Just bear in mind, Stuart, I'm travelling tomorrow for 4 days. Regarding this letter to Watson's.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem doing it. It's just.
Have you actually already sent them a letter, Stuart, asking for all that stuff?
I've sent them a gentle reminder this afternoon saying, where's this, where's that? Appreciate you're on leave. Appreciate it's only been 3 working days, but I stopped short saying we're under pressure from leaseholders, but yeah.
I'll ring in the morning and ask for this contact list, and at the same time, I'll do a verbal chase up on it, and then if Ron can take up on when he gets back to where he's going, if he can follow it up further.
Just let me know the salient point. Well, depending on what you come across as well, Sally.
I mean, I asked for it as well today, Sally, and for information. And I also sent an email to Ian I sent him the minutes for him to approve, and also asked him to give me timescales for the information we had requested from him. And I was told he was away on holiday, so I wasn't going to get any answers back till Thursday. I spoke to Sarah after, and she said she couldn't give me any information because she had not been told that I was company secretary, and therefore she was not prepared to give me anything.
Oh, well, I'll say you can give it me then.
I think what we've got to do is be careful we haven't got 17 people in it all bombarding Watson. It needs to be channeled, which is Sally, Ron, great, to make sure it's coherent. And are you? I don't mind, Jane, but you're company secretary. Has that been appointed at company's house?
No.
No, because they wouldn't send me the paperwork because nobody on the board of directors had told them, even though I said it was actually went through in the meeting with Ian on Friday. And she said, well, she hadn't been told, so she couldn't do anything about it. But she did then send me the form, which as well, James, she asked me to pass on to you.
James?
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah.
James, I said, Sarah sent me the form and asked me to pass it on to you.
All right.
Okay.
Actually, on that note that Paul's just made, we do need to appoint a chairperson.
Yeah, we do.
You've got it at the moment, Stuart. Well done.
Yeah, it's not. I've got to be honest, guys. Honestly, it's not sustainable for me at the moment.
What about Ron?
No, I don't fancy that particular role, to be honest.
It needs you, Stuart. You've got that personality. You're quite good at galvanizing people, and you understand all the issues. I've got bits and pieces here and there.
Can I say, what about Carl? I know he's not as vocal necessarily.
Oh, he's still with us. Hi, Carl.
Hi everyone. I'll do it if people want, but not the loudest voice in the room by far. But I think I've got.
Well, can you keep people in control?
Yeah, if everyone's respectful, it's an easy job, and I think this board's. I think to say we've had less time together, I think we've gelled pretty well, pretty quick. Whereas, yeah. I wouldn't have been able to do it on the previous board because of slamming on tables and stuff.
Okay, let's.
But
not
yeah.
dwell on past.
So we should have a vote anyway. Maybe.
I was going to propose, to be honest, I think Carl would be a good choice. I think Ron would be. I think Sally would be. I think anyone on this call would be. Nick, would you be willing to do it? Because you've got equally quite a commanding presence.
Nick,
I don't know what's involved.
To be honest,
Keeping us all under control, Nick.
Yeah, you basically go through the agenda points and keep everyone in line and make sure we're progressing at a quick enough pace to fulfil the agenda, ideally.
I mean, the chairman doesn't actually have to do much, in all honesty, if he gets the rest of the board to do it for him, which is one of the things on the subgroups later on. So to be honest, it's managing us lot.
I think working along.
Put in the crap, Nick. That's what you're good at. Tell people.
Fine, but
move on.
I've no issue in managing people, but I'm similar to Sally in that this is all so over my head. I've never had anything to do with managing a building or anything like this before. So I've got the skills in business and in managing people, but not in necessarily this. So I've no issue chairing the meeting. But if you start asking me about legalities and things, I really don't.
You'd be good at chairing the meeting then, because we don't have to ask you legalities.
Fine. Okay.
I think as well the role of the chair, where Vicky went wrong in the role of the chair, is rather than saying, this has been allocated to XYZ, I'm going to let them now speak. She just sat there while Michael Solid took over the meetings,
Right.
and she wasn't reining him in. Whereas I think conversely, you would.
Would I need to write the agendas and things like that?
No, that'd be me, because I'm company secretary.
We just chuck stuff at Jane, and Jane, as she's done with
Makes
the
it
minutes.
happen.
I think you would need to have an input. Let's be fair. Stuart's made quite an interesting act to follow. That he has got the understanding across the board spectrum of the issues, and without being rude to you, Nick, because I think you would be a good chairman, I actually think Carl should do it, because Carl's got the overview and the history, which certainly, I mean, I haven't a clue what's going on really. I'll vote for something.
Can I be brutally
Carl's
honest
got that
there?
knowledge.
Can I be brutally honest there? Carl has a good way of procrastinating and taking a long time to say things. And what a chairman needs to be is, right, point one, who's dealing with it? Right, that's over. Move on. Point two. I'm just saying, because Carl can talk for a long time.
It's true.
Just saying.
I can do that, but I just can't spend 200 hours a week on this, that's all.
As a chairman, you don't have to.
We also need a vice chair anyway. So
Yeah, we need a vice chair as well.
You have to be a vice chair for when the chair can't be in attendance, but I think the stronger candidates as a chair.
Why is Stuart just gone for a cigarette just when we just? Here he is. Look, here he is.
No, I'm still here. I'm still listening. No, what I would say then is, okay, so at the risk of sounding like Michael Solid, show of hands for Nick as chairman.
Okay.
James, what are you doing, because we can't see you?
I can see James.
Oh, can you? I can't.
Have you got them all?
So minuted, all board agreed.
Right,
Votes
show of
for
hands for
Carl.
Stuart.
Sorry?
Show of hands for Stuart.
Yeah, I'll go for that one as well.
Let's
You only got two, sorry.
No, honestly, guys, I hate public speaking. It was fucking horrible the other night doing it. But anyway, so show of hands for Carl to be co-chair.
Oh, definitely.
Okay. I stand relieved as chairman. Now I can go for a cigarette. I'm still listening though.
Oh, who's got the agenda?
I have. It got sent out on an email.
Yeah,
I've got the agenda.
The chairman needs to see the agenda.
Oh,
Nick.
I've got a printer at home.
You want me to do it? Nick, you want me to go through it?
Yeah, I've read it, but I haven't printed it out.
So So
Didn't
we've
know
got
as a
the
chairman.
discussions of the attached minutes, which I think we've covered now.
Yeah.
Watson's current status was the second one. So we've actually asked for the schedule release of the documents that we requested, and we've already got down that Ron and James are going to request that, and also Sally's going to do that.
Yeah.
As well.
Can I make a point on that one, please?
Yes,
Just
certainly.
going back to the minutes and the information that we're sending out to the leaseholders, I do think that we need to put something in there about the fact that I want to frighten them about the fact that we haven't paid an insurance premium and we haven't got any money in the reserve account.
That is in there.
Yeah,
Say-
it's actually in the minutes. Sorry, yeah, I was just thinking about making it clear. But no, if we're actually dispatching the full minutes to them,
Well,
Yeah.
this raises
Yeah.
a good point, because a number of people have expressed concerns to me about sending out the full minutes, and a number of people have said that, no, we want the
Everything.
transparency.
Yeah.
My view on this is we should send the full minutes. We've given them a chance to give their feedback. They haven't. We make a note of that in the covering email. We send out the full minutes.
None of this is commercially sensitive anyhow, really. You know, the fact everybody knows we haven't got an insurance premium in place at the moment is important to everybody.
very important, very
Yeah.
important.
I
And the
don't
fact
see
we've got
the
nothing
point
in the
of
reserve fund is
withholding-
equally important.
I
Sorry,
don't
James,
see
carry
the
on.
point of
So then the
doing
other one was
that
total
minutes.
income of the mill and service charges. So again, if that's something that we can put onto the list for Ron and James to ask for, because
Is that not in the accounts, total income of the mill?
well, yeah, it is, but we haven't got that yet. So again, it's back to them to ask him for that.
I would like to know it by apartment.
You'll get that info. They did
You
say they
do,
would break it
yeah.
down that way.
They do
for
break
you.
it down.
Yeah.
And then the other one was total expenditure of non-negotiable costs relating to daily running of the mill, such as gas, electric.
Yeah, we haven't had that information. We need to get it. They haven't provided it.
Yeah, so again, if that's the things that Ron and James can ask for.
I am very happy to look through contracts, whether it's for the gym equipment company that's supposed to service the gym equipment, whether it's an electrical contract for the electric bill. I'm happy to sit and spend evenings looking through all the contracts and seeing what can be got out of, what has been done well, what hasn't been done well. I'm quite happy to do that once we've got more Watsons.
Can I just add a point in a minute there, which is something I think we should write to Watsons and advise them that Nick is now the chairman, Carl is the sub-chairman, and could they please respond to Nick or Carl's request instantly?
But it's not Carl or Nick that's asking the question, though,
And,
Paul.
well,
it's Ron.
I want them to know there's a chairman, there's somebody in charge. I know I was saying Ron and everything, but you know, that this is the chairman of the group. He should be, of the company.
Paul, I understand that, but we did say that we were only going to have specific people talking to Watsons.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm contradicting myself.
Just so that they weren't bombarded.
The point is, what we need to all start doing until we've got an official email address is anybody that sends anything to Watson's, put the rest of us in copy.
Yeah.
It's that simple. I mean, at the minute, we've got 7 different people emailing Watson's.
The other thing I think we need to address is that Watsons need to be aware that we are the board, they listen to us, they don't listen to the former board, and they don't have any involvement with the former board beyond any rights of any other leaseholder. So we need to quash any
And
of
I
that.
think that should go to the chairman as a letter, as an official letter from the board.
I have a slight different view. I think we should, and this will be repayable, we should be getting a lawyer, a solicitor to send that letter to them, along with a formal request that the previous board hand over all relevant materials. I think it should all be a one-er, and I think we need to engage a solicitor to do it. We don't have to pay for this. It will be covered by the service charge, but I think we do need to consider that, because at the minute, at the minute, the board have said they're not going to tell us anything because they've been voted out, and then they're saying, oh, but we will give you some stuff. There's nothing, nobody's responding to anything. Vicky had an invite tonight to attend and give a handover for part of this meeting. She declined.
You're not really surprised at that. If I'd have been any of the board, I would have declined. It was pretty tough meeting. And
It was, but they
she
do
was
have a
she was
legal-
petrified that she was going to get a hammering, and I quite understand why she wouldn't do it. She has said, if you've got any questions at all, I can direct them to her. So, and I would like, if anybody has got anything that I need to ask her, then let me know and I will ask her. But I do understand why she's not turned up tonight.
Well, I don't, to be honest, Sally. She shouldn't have anything to be regretful about.
Yeah, could she compile a list maybe of any decision making through the minutes we have as for previous board, to show transparency and accountability for their actions to date?
Right. If anybody's got anything that we need to, could you message me with what you'd like to ask them, and I'll have a meeting with them and go through it.
I think that's a reasonable course of action.
Yeah,
Short term, I would say that if it lingers on for more than a couple of weeks, then at some point they do need a legal gentle rocket up the rear end to say they have an ongoing obligation.
I mean, I need to know what we need. What do we get from them that we're not getting from Watson's?
Copies of all contracts for the mill.
Yeah, but
previous board meeting minutes.
This is what I'm saying. So all this
Guys, did you all
correspondence.
said
Oh.
earlier on?
Sorry, go on.
Did you email?
Well, you're not coming
Hello?
through, James.
All right, Susan.
That's good.
Right,
Go with that.
While James isn't coming through, then what I was suggesting is all these emails that we're sending and everything and responses, want putting in some form of a register. At the moment, they're up in the ether and trying to drag possible. Everything wants registering. Do you not agree? It wants to be down in black and white.
Well, if we can start including all of us in copy to whatever's been sent, I can happily start an Excel sheet and keep a track of what's been sent, a brief summary of what's been asked for, the time, the date. But as I said, that requires all of us to cooperate and ensure that we are copying each other into stuff until we've got a more formal communication process.
Well, that's
set up.
what I mean. When I approach Watson's now with this inquiry, what's my method of getting it all over to you lot? Is it just by copying in all on the email?
Yeah.
At the
Yeah, at the
moment.
moment, we've got no other choice. We've got no other means.
Right. Well, as far as I'm concerned, any communications like that with me will get printed off and put in a register. You know, like what I did with James Thompson. You saw how damaging that was. And you can flick through it. I mean, I'm not IT, you know, hands-on as such, if you see what I mean. I'm not like you, Stuart. I like to see things in black and white. And I'll have a folder with it all leafed off. And if I need to see something about water ingress, right, water ingress, there we go. If I need to see something about something else, there we go. I might be antiquated. I'm sorry if I sound a bit that way, but that's just how my mind
You're
works.
happy to do that, Ron. If you're happy to do it that way, then.
But I think for a lot of other people, there will be more wanting to keep it online in secure folders. So I think it just still needs to be everybody copied.
Yes,
so that
yes.
they
Oh,
can file it as they wish.
All of us in copy because it's great that Rod, you're going to have this folder. Wonderful, brilliant. That works for you.
Yeah.
I personally do like a hard copy as well. But if you're emailing separate to Nick, separate to Paul, separate to whoever, and we're not
I
all in
won't do that.
copy, there's no combined register. So we've all got to make sure we're all in copy until we get a more formal communication.
I don't think you should communicate with individuals. If I'm talking to Paul, if I'm talking to Nick, Carl, whoever, everybody should know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then we're all in the loop together. But I'll do that for my own benefit, and then I'm constantly in the loop with what I'm talking about and stuff.
Right, so is it Ron or is it Sally that's going to email them with a few information things that we need?
It was Ron and James.
Sally's going to phone them tomorrow, Nick.
Right.
She's going to mention XYZ,
Yeah.
Well,
And she's been-
I'm in touch with Ian at the moment. He seems quite responsive to me. Like I'm getting emails back in 3 or 4 minutes, and he's on holidays. So,
Well, James, you can speak to them. I just think we need the contact list. There's 2 things we need urgently. We need to sort out the email address, and we need the contact so that we can keep people informed and we can all see what's going backwards and forwards.
I'd say there's about. I'd say there's about 50 things we need urgently, and I've sent an email over. I don't know if any of you've seen it already, but I'm asking for those things on a personal note because I'm entering into litigious situation with what's on a personal note. Obviously, the director, if he's refusing me that, I'm going to be coming a little bit more. How do I put it? Well, I won't be aggressive in any way, shape, or form, but I'm going to be. But he's coming back to me. So at the moment, yeah, I mean, I'm happy to do that, but I am approaching them on a personal because I want all of these things before I pay my service charge because I've been asking them for over a year now.
Any personal matters don't need to go through us.
The personal matters and the board matters end up becoming confused or they use it against us. So my proposal for now is we need to get you and Ron in there as quick as possible to start going through the numbers along with for us. But let Sally for now, just for a week or 2 weeks, see how she gets on. Let her pin them down to get, the immediate action points.
Information we've asked for.
I think it's important. I think it's important to ask them for the contracts as well, so Nick can get his information. Because
I'll be chasing them up to ask them for everything that Stuart's already asked for.
Okay.
The other thing that we do need urgently is the director's insurance.
Yeah.
Are we doing separate director's insurance? I mean, Ian said that they sort it out for us, or it's sorted. What are we doing in there?
I would say that Ian said there's director's insurance. We are covered. He was going to send the details. I think we give him till the end of this week. If not, we simply make our own arrangements, bill them, and tell him to cancel their existing one for failure to come back to us within a reasonable time frame.
Yeah, fine.
Sorry, a daft question.
Sorry.
Hang on, let's go to Nick first and then you, James.
Sorry, what are we insured for? What's the policy for? Sorry.
It's director's liability insurance in case we fuck up and someone puts a claim in.
Okay, what's that noise?
I don't know, but it's a little bit annoying.
What's it doing?
It's like a jingling, jangling Jimmy Savile noise.
Shine.
It's my ring, I'm sorry.
Right.
Your ring?
It's ring doorbell thing, security system around the house. There's somebody approaching. Hang on. Might be the police.
What's hit squad?
Yeah, regards Trusting Watson's for insurance, as I understand it, we're not insured for certain aspects of the building because Watson's were colourful with the truth on an insurance form, so I probably wouldn't advise taking any insurance that they organise.
But again, I think we have to almost give them we have to give them a reasonable time frame to provide us with the director's insurance certificate. And I think it's not unreasonable to say a week to get all the information that Sally's going to chase for again in the morning, following on from my email earlier and the meeting on Friday. I think if we haven't got it by then this week, we've then got justification to say, actually, you haven't provided it. We're not comfortable that we're covered. It needs to be in place. We've made our own arrangements.
My concern, if Watson's have billed us for it, whether they're taking it out or not, there may be cancellation charges or we end up paying twice for something.
Is this the indemnity insurance?
No, this is
Director's indemnity.
Liability insurance.
Okay.
I thought that Ian said he knew what it was, he knew where it was, but that he hadn't taken it out. It was the board that took it out, but he has the information.
It's a question for Sally.
I might be wrong.
Question for Vicky.
Sorry, Vicky, Sally.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it names directors anyway, it wouldn't cover us anyway, would it?
No.
That's a good point. If
It's not named directors, it should be just the board, anybody who's a board member.
But Nick raises a good point because we don't know what's in this policy. If it names individuals, then it's all well and good in saying you're covered, but we're not. So we need them
Well,
to
we
give
need to see it.
Yeah.
My
Need to know how much it costs.
So
my,
can we? Sorry.
my understanding as a director with very limited information was that it will put into place for us, and we were covered as directors. Something to do with how it be put through the service charge that were done through Watson's. That's my understanding. I could be wrong. We just need clarification on it.
There's too much ambiguity here. We simply need to see
Yeah.
a copy of the policy and the certificate.
Yeah.
End of. So again, sorry for being bossy and
No,
very domineering here, but Sally, can you follow up on that one with both Vicky and WPM
as well? Yeah.
Yeah,
Shall we move
get
on-
a grip
shall
of
we
that
move on to the
Stuart
next
Walton,
point?
but aye. He's taking over.
Shall we move on to the next point so that we can try and
Yeah.
keep a time scale on this one?
Yes.
So point 3 we got was how to communicate information to the board, from the board, sorry, to the leaseholders. I think this was brought up because we were saying, yeah, it's okay, we want to sort of frighten them, we want to tell them things, but obviously as we go forward, we don't necessarily want to be releasing minutes of board meetings, but there should be a newsletter every month saying what we are doing, but without giving too much information that could be detrimental.
I'm actually going to put my cards on the table on this one. We stood in front of that room promising them outright transparency.
I don't disagree with outright transparency, but what I mean is there are certain things within a board meeting that, and the minutes will be taken, that do not
We can have
be
off the
circulated.
record. We can have off the record comments.
We can, yeah, I think that's a fair point. We can
Stu-
have off the record comments.
That's what we did previously. There were
Yeah.
things we discussed off the record, but I always produced minutes and I distributed them to everybody. But there were some off the record stuff which we've got to have, which is acceptable.
You can
Stuart,
also
the-
do a summary of the meeting, keep it very limited, and if anybody wants more details on any specific point, all they've got to do is ask for it.
Where do
think
they
we
ask?
should evolve to that stage. I don't
There has to
think
be a
we're
structure.
there.
Sally's communications.
Yeah,
Sorry, what?
I don't think we should be saying, we just send it out. If anybody's got a query, fine, but we won't invite queries.
Stuart, I don't think you need to send out minutes to a meeting like this. Transparency is transparency in what progress we're making, not and how much we're spending, not every
Issues
little
we're
thing.
addressing. Yeah,
I think, yeah, okay, for the board meeting, I think we need to be sending out something fairly transparent. There will be obviously things we can't put in
summary.
there. A summary, but it has to
Good.
have the salient facts in there. We can't just whitewash stuff.
A detailed summary.
Yeah,
A detailed
we promise them transparency and we've got to do that.
Yeah, but we also promised them we were kind of like going to gun for Watson's, and
But we
That-
still are,
We
James,
need
but we
to
just
hold
can't
them
do
to
it in
account.
2
We need
weeks.
to- Yeah,
Well,
we need to
you-
hold them to account and build a pace.
sorry, was that Sally?
No, it was me,
Was that?
Jane.
Sorry, I thought you were taking minutes, Shane. I didn't realise you were kind of like giving too much input on this. So we can do it straight away if we want. It's choosing what we do, or you know, it's deciding on what we do. So we did, and bear in mind the very people that have just elected us are the very people that will get rid of us if we don't meet the mandate.
Fine.
So,
I can have my resignation now.
Okay.
No, seriously. You know, I'm only putting this work in to help, hopefully, meet some of the objectives we said we would do. If
You're
not,
handing your-
if somebody else wants to stand up and say, I'll do it, great, not a problem. I'll stand aside, crack on.
Paul, we're not doing that. And James, that was quite disrespectful what you said to Sally. I thought you were just taking minutes,
It
not
wasn't
giving
me,
any-
it was Jane.
No, it was me, Jane.
Sorry. Yeah, we're all putting input in here. No one's
Yeah.
here just to write it down. So that was a bit disrespectful.
Sorry, Nick. What are you? Has Jane been voted in as director?
Does it matter?
Yes.
Why? She's got a flat there. I've got a flat there. We've all got a flat there. Who cares? We're in it as a team.
James,
Well, Jamie-
if I'm going to be company secretary, then that actually does put me on the board.
It does.
I think the definition here is it puts Jane on the board. She doesn't have voting rights.
Yeah.
Now, whether we're willing to entertain feedback from Jane is a different story.
Right. Well, then I need to know what's going on, don't I?
Why? What's the issue? Jane's been part of this. She's a good contributor. Why would we not want her contribution? I don't understand. I really don't understand.
Well,
Neither do I.
I think
Well,
we do
the-
want a contribution. Shall we move on?
yeah.
If you
I
want
don't
to,
want-
Again, Jane
got
does
my
not
vote.
have voting rights.
As long as I
Jane
know what's
understands
going on.
that. Everybody understands that. Do we want her contribution? I
Yeah.
would say we're prudent to get contributions and input from all leaseholders. Jane is no
Exactly.
different. But if leaseholders and the rest of the board don't feel that we want Jane's comments, then okay, let's have that discussion.
Well, let's have a vote on it.
she's got my vote.
We want Jane's comments. Sorry, Jane, that was disrespectful. We appreciate your input.
Thank you.
Right. So,
Move on.
how are we gonna generate this newsletter type thing then? This form of communication.
Well,
But
the
Jane
plan
will
would have
put
been
minutes
for the
together,
company
it will take
secretary to
some
send
time.
that out on behalf of the board.
Yeah,
Where are you
Yeah.
gonna send it to, Jane?
Once
everybody.
I've got the list of emails, I'll go with the emails that we
Oh.
have currently.
Right.
And then once I get the full list, then the full list would be who I would send it out to.
Right. And how do they, if they've any queries, get back to us?
They can come back if once we've got the email address set up properly, I would
Right.
presume that they will come back to the email address. If not, if everybody is happy for it, I am happy to field those for now because I will have sent it out from my email address to start with. I'm
Right.
happy to field those into everybody that's been given with that. I'll just send them out and then you can all make your comments and then I can feed it back as it stands at the moment.
Right. And is it difficult to set this director's email thing up? I just thought you'd just come up
No,
with a name and
we
a
can set
password.
one up, but I think the thing first of all is to see whether we can take over the other one and because if we can take it over and get all the passwords changed, it actually gives us access to what was already sent.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's why I would sort of favour that if we could.
Yeah.
And then if they've taken everything away, then that's a big argument because then they've taken everything away from us, and that's where we've got a legal thing from the point of view of if we've taken over that email address, then we should be able to see everything that's there. And there would be a backup somewhere where they could actually restore it all.
Good point, Jane, and that's why we're asking for your opinion.
Thank you, Ron.
All right, guys, I apologise for that then. So now I know that, she is giving input and she's not just a secretary. So going back, you said we can't get rid of Watson straight away. Why is that?
From my point of view, James, I think we have to have some continuity, even if it's for a week, a month or whatever, however long it takes us, while we get a handle on the situation. Equally, I think we want to find out if there has been any shenanigans or anything that turns up in the accounts or receipts, so we can go back and ask them. If we sack them now and somebody says, where's the £5,000 been going on X? Watson, if we've sacked them and got rid of them, ain't going to answer.
They'll just stonewall us. They won't tell us anything. We need to be friends with them for a while.
Yeah.
They're going to stonewall us anyway, and they're not going to give us any.
You don't know that yet. You get more by handing out milk than honey than vinegar, isn't it? Let's be nice to them.
Okay. I'm not saying,
Not sure about
Nice
being
to them.
nice, but hey ho.
I'm not saying not be nice, but what I'm saying is, if we're not seen to be doing what we said we were going to do, and I've been saying that I'm going to do for 3 years, if we don't do that, none of us are going to be here very long. That's all I'm saying.
The thing
But let's not cut our nose off to spite our face. We've all got the
Absolutely.
same aim,
the thing
but you
I'm not
can't do it.
Can I just say, I think,
Let Carl, sorry, Sally, let Carl just say what he's got to say because he's quite softly spoken.
My concern is we're acting like the previous board have done wrong and Watsons have done wrong. Why don't we let them fight it off? Whoever's providing the information, whoever's providing evidence as to who's doing what, who's saying what. When Ian started doing open meetings in 2012, he seemed to be authorised to take the read of the room, and he were directed by certain bigger voices, and that's how decisions were made. He did have some good ideas. Some of them got through, some of them were stonewalled by the attendees of meetings. We need clarity on who decided what, how those decisions were minuted, who's actually to blame. And until we have that level of accountability and traceability, it'd be a bit foolish to send them on the way. I'd rather both parties have the option. Currently, we've got different views on the previous board. Sally, hopefully you've got a good relationship with Vicky to get it going. So let's give them both chances to prove each other who's doing what.
Can I say something on that? I believe that we should do things sooner rather than later. If we're giving them a 7-day time limit to provide this information, it won't come through in 7 days. But if we're on board with getting quotes from other management companies immediately, and we've got this information through, then we need to move. I agree.
What happens if we've got a 12-month rolling contract?
Sorry, guys, can I just step in? Again, it's in the minutes. I appreciate you haven't read them, Paul. Watsons and us can terminate like that, and Watsons will not hold us to a 30-day notice period. There is a cost implication in doing that, and we don't know what that is. And separate to that, okay, I can tell you right now, non-related to the mill, I'm looking at a small port-related project, and to assess that, whether we can go in, make it work, and make money, because any management company is looking to make money. That process is taking me 3 months to 6 months at least. This building is exactly the same. So to answer James's question, why I don't think we can get rid of Watsons like that is A, we do not have someone to come in and pick up the tab straight away. We're still evolving discussions. We've had a couple of initial phone calls. B, we need to see I know Watsons are going to stonewall us. I know they're not going to get any money out of them. We're not.
So if I can get someone to come in, within 2 weeks, we'd all be agreed then?
I would say if you could get we need to get a number of different tenders and quotes. We need to evolve it to a fair tender and quotation stage. Yeah, if you could get someone to come in 2 weeks and 136 leaseholders vote for it, so be it. I'll quite happily go with it. But I think it's unfair that we have a number of different tenders and we assess what they're offering, the cost of that, and we compare and contrast.
And
that's what I would expect as a leaseholder from my board of directors. Now, if you're saying you want to bring in a company and they're very reputable, I mean, 2 weeks isn't enough to even do due diligence checks on them. It's not.
Shoot. It doesn't have to be 136 votes. Yeah. And when you say reputable, does it have to be at least as reputable as Watsons? Is that what you're saying?
All joking aside, I do agree with you. It has to be someone that's RICS accredited from the start, otherwise the head lease will terminate the whole process. Yeah. So there are complications.
Right. I've sent you an email tonight. I don't know if any of you have read it, but a lot of the things. Yeah. Well, Griff. I mean, I can get so they're not going to. It's unlikely they're going to appoint someone else, and if they do, it can be challenged. I mean, some of the stuff it's like 3 to 6 months. If you go back to the leaseholders and say this, I just don't think we're going to get anywhere. So,
James, can I just say, I totally agree with you, and I agree with the passion you've got, but there's a lot of information we need to find out, and we're all new at this. And if we just signed on with a separate company now, without really learning the ropes, which we need to do, we could be making a big error. So I personally think, find out as much as we can, get our teeth into it, get to grips with it a little bit, just for a few short weeks before we make any big decisions. And yes, the leaseholders want to change. Well, so do we, because we know what twats they are. But there's no point in going from one bad thing to another bad thing without researching it properly. And at the moment, we don't know enough information. We need to get that information. So just short term, we need to be a bit savvy about it and keep Watsons on side.
I would also say
Right.
if we bring in a single management company, yeah, without providing everyone with different price breakdowns, we are leaving ourselves open to the former board and their supporters to say corruption and all the things that we've suspected about them. We're leaving ourselves open, is my honest opinion. But
I agree.
if the remainder of the board decide they want to go a different way, I've made my objection. I stand by my views. But ultimately, if 5 people on this call now put their hand in there and say, let's get rid of Watson's tomorrow, let's bring in this company, this single company, then I'll go with it.
Tomorrow. I'm not saying get rid of Watson's tomorrow, so I don't want to be misquoted on this. What I'm saying is, I don't 6 months. If you turn around and start, I think we're saying, look, what we're doing is we're going for the tender because I don't think it's going to take 3 to 6 months for people to start quoting or saying that they want to do this. I just don't believe it. I mean, I know someone that will step in in the next week. I'd work on I'm not trying to promote that because I couldn't care less. I'd prefer not because I've got a relationship with them, and I'd prefer not. So, but I don't believe we can't get several companies in the next week or two that would be relatively keen on putting a proposal forward. And I'm not saying that at that point we tell Watsons and say, yes, we're going to terminate. What I'm trying to do is keep us in a position where we are keeping, because you're saying, well, we don't need to sort of deal with leaseholders. Well, you know why? Because it only takes 1 or 2 people to call all of those, the same 71, or however many it was before, to say, we're not doing what we said, and then the whole building is in a mess.
Yeah,
I think
they're
really-
not going to do that in the first week. They're going to give us a bit of time to get it sorted.
Hang about, didn't we cover this in the first thing that I wrote down here? James and Carl will discuss with 4 companies to review the management company and get proposals. We talked, that was point bloody one of them, ain't it?
We're going to coordinate getting them to come in and have a look over the next week, and we can report this back to leaseholders. So to a certain degree, we are covering all the ground. I think James's point is, do we need to agree now whether that's going to take 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or 12 months?
Can't answer that. I don't have the information.
Why do we need information to speak to a number of companies?
We don't.
James, you're getting a bit mixed up here. The question here is, you think it can be done in 3 months. Personally, I think 6 months is more realistic. So we know we've got companies waiting. We know we need to evolve those discussions. If we're going to bring these companies in, do we need to be saying to them, you need to be giving us a price in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months? What's the consensus? How long are we giving people to tender?
I think we want a price off them as soon as they put it together. I don't think we should.
Yeah,
We've almost got to set a deadline, I think, is what James is saying.
No, because all we're going to do is have a look through the tenders and get a preferred bidder, one of which might be Watson.
And you probably get to 2 bidders anyway, and then go and ask them again to sharpen the pencils and look at other options, and then you'll get further. That is going to take at least 4 to 6 weeks, at least, even if they all come in this week.
The sooner we get on with it, the better, I think. So,
yeah.
Okay, so are we in agreement then, when we're speaking to these other companies, we're going to set a notional deadline of 90 days for them to formulate a tender and get the prices back?
I wouldn't have gone that far.
6 weeks?
I would have said a month. If it's their job, they'll be able to give us that within a month. Whether we make a decision within that time.
Let's be honest, they've all got a template. They've all got a template. They just change the name to protect innocent.
say a month. If they can't do it within a month, they'll say we can't do it within a month, 5 or 6 weeks. But if we ask for it within a month,
a month sample, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then it can always be tweaked when they come on stream accordingly.
Creating that based on a template following what Watson's fulfilling their contract. Does anyone have access to that? Or would
we could try and get it, but let them come up with another option instead of trying to go with broken.
If we offered a new company coming in, if we offer them a 2-year contract instead of a year's contract, maybe we can agree credit terms to pick up some of the pending payments that Watson's are going to hit us with. So there are these various options. But I think at this point we might be overcomplicating it a little bit. So going back to brass tacks, we're going to reach out to these companies. We're going to invite them to come down in the next week or so. Carl and James are going to be available to go around with them. And we're going to basically tell them they've got 1 month to come back to us with a formalized maintenance program, schedule, cash flow forecast, and ultimate tender price. Are we all agreed on that?
Yeah.
I think so.
And I think that, yeah, I'm agreed. Yeah, and I think that'll certainly satisfy a lot of people. To be quite honest, it shows we're you know, making moves.
But I'm also going to be very direct on this because I've had non-stop phone calls today from leaseholders complaining, and I am on the verge of telling them all to shut up and wind their necks in. We've been at this a week and we put more into this than the previous board, and I actually do want that minuting.
Why are you getting phone calls? Who's
It's been
ringing?
endless, Paul. It's been endless today. It really has. So
Because
you know what? Because again, I'm not being arsey, but I'm going to reiterate what Paul and Nick and every other people have said. We're not doing this for the good of our health. We're not doing this because we're in it for something. We're doing this to turn the building around, save everyone a couple of quid.
Yes.
You know, where the people putting the effort in here, I expect a bit of leeway and a bit of breathing space. It's been 1 week, 3 days since meeting with Watson's. People need to back off a little bit.
A lot.
Let us formulate things. Let us work through things.
Well,
Yeah,
if
we
you
need time to
remember,
find a
when I
point.
stood up having had my tantrum in the AGM, I did actually say to the people sat there that they had to give you time to work on things. I did say that in the meeting, and I did also say that, you know, yes, you would go back with information, but they also had to appreciate that if we hit something that meant the time scale had to move, we would be transparent enough to tell them that and why, but we couldn't be held accountable for what we didn't know.
Right.
I think they need to know as well, and they need to appreciate the gravity of the shit we've got to sort out here, and the historic shit as well. We've got a fantastic group of people here and we're all capable of doing it, and it couldn't be in better hands. But we have got some crap to get through, and they need to appreciate that. So they need to give us a few weeks to at least get our teeth into it.
Could I make a suggestion? If Jane is sending out the minutes, a summary of this meeting or whatever, and the other minutes and things, can we do an introduction?
A cover letter.
Yeah, saying what you've just said now, and just putting in there, you'll see this in the minutes, but something we weren't aware of is we haven't paid our insurance premium and we've got nothing in our reserve. These are very worrying things, and you can't put this pressure on us, or words to that effect.
Yeah.
You've got to give us chance to get our head round what is going on, because it's worse than we thought.
Yeah. Terminology is, this is what we've adopted. Yeah.
Yeah. Can we move on to the next thing? I'm just thinking that, like Nick said originally, we don't want to spend too much time on meetings. And so
let's move
yeah.
on.
So we'd said co-opted of individuals with skills onto the board for limited periods. I think we can agree that that's what we've all said we were going to do.
Yes.
I do want to say that the co-opting thing, I think we do need to encourage people. We had an invite, we had a request from Chris Sullivan, I think it was. He was very supportive in the meeting. He asked a lot of good questions. I know, Nick, you said, oh, maybe we don't need it at this point. It's a bit awkward because we all stood in that meeting saying, we want your involvement. We want people to partake.
Yeah, so but I think it's got to be managed.
Yeah.
I also think perhaps he was saying, I'm an action coach and I'll help action coach the whole of the board. That was how I read it. I'd say, well, thank you very much. I don't need an action coach. I want someone to go sort the insurance out. Would you like to go and sort that out?
That was going to be one of my questions. Sorry. That was going to be one of my questions. I think we need to find somebody who's prepared to go in and look at the insurance.
Well,
yeah, finance. Maybe that's...
Let's get him to do it. Let's go back to him and say, this is something we've identified. We need your help. Throw it back to him. If his view is he wanted to come in and give us coaching, and that's not what we're looking for, we throw it back. We've got this available. Can you help? And if he picks it up, great. If he doesn't, he's had the offer. He's not been excluded.
I agree with Paul. I read that saying, did we want some help being managed?
I read it a different way, but you know what? I need to revisit the email now you've said
Yeah,
that.
I need to reread it too.
Who's going to respond to him?
It's directed to me and the rest of us. So once we are all singing on the same hymn sheet or a majority decision's made, I'll respond to him.
Okay, cool.
The next one.
Can I just add one more point on that one, please? I think we could do with somebody putting together, we know what the issues are, key lists, so that when we say to people, please come and help us, could we not do something in that which says, does anybody have any specific expertise or knowledge where they can get involved with the board and help on any of these particular areas? Accounts, insurance, building, I don't know, pool management, gardening, I don't care. But
Yeah,
the list of the key issues.
What I can put out on that cover letter is that, Paul. I'll put that out on the cover letter.
Is that what the board want?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we need to work out what it is we can tick off if we're wanting support from anyone else who may offer a different perspective from it, or if we're just doing it as a board. And then that leaves us a list where we've got gaps in our knowledge, and then that leaves the field open to the rest of the people to fill.
Nick, how do you feel about giving that task to Paul and Carl to just come up with a matrix of skill sets? Does that tick the boxes?
Absolutely fine, but I think most of them we can cover. I think only ask for help if we specifically need it, because otherwise you'll end up just having so many volunteers for things that it'll just be too complicated and take up too much time. Most of the things you just said, accountancy, contracts, bits of, gardening, we can do all that between us. It's easy.
Yeah, but
Smashing.
again, it's the management company's responsibility.
Yeah, lots of it will be when we get the right management company, yeah.
So are our efforts not better expended getting the right management company in quick? I just
How
I'm
big
kind
the insurance? Do we want to be paying the management company to be doing historic reviewing of contracts?
well, if that's a deal we've put together, yeah.
I don't.
Why not?
Guys, it just needs to the WC.
I think
the problem is people voted us in based on expecting us to do a certain amount of due diligence on their behalf. I think we do need to tick that box, and I think it's probably going to take us a quarter of a year to be in a position where we could say, this is the research we've got, this is the evidence we've got that backs it, this is where we're at now, where do we go from here?
Can I just ask a question? I don't know the answer to. Who has previously decided which electricity company we use for electric? Which company we use for the insurance? Is it Mimco or Watson's that decide all that?
Watson's.
Watson's have a preferred contractor list and stuff like that. So, I think Stu mentioned we'd rather see going forwards. I think we said it at the meeting. We'd rather see going forwards local jobs, local people, local contractors, and see it more local and more accountable to us, kind of thing. I think there are options like that. And
the company rent the gym equipment off. Who decided to use that company?
Myself and a former director were part of that process essentially, but it still went to it were a committee at the time, which was approved by the directors, which were the developers at the time, to allow us to make those decisions. That's my understanding on it. So me and Vicky were the research and looking into it, but it still went to a majority decision from the board committee at the time.
Because to go back to the gym as an example, that's not worked very well, has it? Because the same equipment's been in a long time and been faulty a long time, and they're just crap at repairing it. So to me, something like that,
so
breach of contract.
The issue with the gym was there's several. I mean, we can get bogged down with it. In terms of repair work, there was no set company in place. Newbody, who is the lease that we've got anyway, has become the maintenance aspect and the servicing. I have requested the invoice before we became the new board, and I was stonewalled. So at the AGM, I did say I would like answers to those, but they've not been forthcoming yet. If it's all right with everyone, I will chase up the gym side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's your baby, isn't it, Carl?
It is.
Can I move on
Can I
again?
just-
Or are we...
Yeah,
Go on.
let's
Before
move
we
on.
move on, I would like just to make a point on this because it was something, I think it was Sally's husband was mentioning to me, or boyfriend or whoever he was it? Who was telling me that they actually had a local pool contractor and he got them involved. And then when he rang them up to say congratulations on getting the contract, which Watson had placed with them, that pool contractor then refused to speak to the, and he was only ringing up to say thank you. So, and they became completely almost in Watson's pocket. And this was the pool contractor of some sort. Was it your husband, Sally?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Who took over the pool?
So Hallam's now have the contract back. Concept did originally take over from Hallam's on the basis of, I think it were Tony's suggestion along with James as well. And then we all backed it as a committee at the time going forwards. However, certain individuals within the committee then board weren't approving of them. They'd preferred to have gone back to the original pool company, which we did. And that's where we ended up. It were against my wishes, but I was excluded at that point.
Unbelievable. Sorry.
Terrible.
So we have gone back to the original company, which is also I'm led
We
to
used
believe.
to sit outside in a van smoking while they were supposed to be working. Anyway.
Yeah.
Can we move this on a bit though, and just
Sorry,
agree that we'll
it was just a
follow up on the
point.
facility stuff. But Paul, you do raise a good point about contractors because there is a strong demand, petty as it may or may not seem, to revoke 2 contracts presently. One is alarm guys, because Watson's disclosed to us in the meeting that they never authorised CCTV access for Diane. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But they claim that she basically got it through alarm guys. So I think we do need to revoke alarm guys. Now, I would prefer to see it go to a local supplier, not because I know a local supplier, but because I'm a big fan of supporting local businesses, supporting the mill. So I'd like to get Watson's on the case on that one. I'd also think there's a big concern about the paid gardener.
Yeah.
People in Brighouse do actually have CCTV alarms. They have gate systems within it and everything. Do the people up at Bradley?
There's the locksmiths in town. There's no end of businesses that could do it.
Yeah.
We need to be
And
giving.
it can be monitored. They can monitor it.
If the board decide that they want to do this, which there is a lot of demand for, then we need to be telling Watson's or we need to be reaching out independently to suppliers.
I think the issue with Vengav is not going the remit of alarm guys at present. So like at present, my understanding is if there's a criminal issue and CCTV is required, they will copy it onto a disk and send it off. We don't pay a specific amount to alarm guys as an ongoing tender, but we just think this is why we need to do the research now to get the clarity on who's doing what, when, where, how, at how much cost. So this is the research we need to build up. And fair enough, people might not be happy with us, but when we can turn around and say, this is a file, you're welcome to view it, it shows we've done more and we've achieved more than the previous board and we've provided transparency throughout. So hold us to account, but compare us to what you've had before.
Yeah, can we move on? I'm conscious. I have to go pick Fern up. I don't want to stuck in lots.
We do need to move on.
On her
So
own.
in principle on that point, then we're going to ask for the contract for alarm guys specifically and the contract for the gardener, and then we'll review it.
It's going to be in this letter that Sally's going to speak to them tomorrow. With prudent point.
Smashing.
And Sally's going to email me with what she's discussed with Watson's, and everybody's going to direct towards me the salient points of what we want to issue to Ian Oman regarding these contracts.
Okay.
And the handover for the clarity reasons. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Next one was tenant representation. We have already really agreed that because we agreed it was Jules, but I just wanted to put it down onto the minute so that we actually made it official.
Are we having Jules at these meetings?
You can join occasionally.
Occasionally.
Them all.
Yeah,
To give a tenant's point of view of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can join for part of it, obviously.
Yeah.
I'd like. I've thought that she comes to all the meetings that she's able to attend to represent the tenants.
Does she
You know
stay for the
what?
full
I
meeting?
second it. I second it.
I don't know
I
why,
wouldn't-
don't know why it matters. She's a tenant, she's an interested party, she's representing the tenants. We should, you know, if
I
you're,
think if we've got anything sensitive, then as
If it
not
gets
being a
into
board
data
member,
information,
Oh,
then yeah,
we don't have
will
anything
to-
sensitive.
No, potentially, Paul, there will be discussion
Yeah.
about debtor information. And at that
Right.
point, if leaseholders are in debt, we can't,
Well,
for
yeah.
GDPR
Yeah,
reasons,
it's
we
not
can't.
Put my name on that one.
But in
Okay.
principle, I second Paul's motion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nick?
Yes, just not at every single meeting. It's kind of a guest. You can make guest appearances.
yeah. Subgroups for the next one, which I think we've already started because we've already started that with who's going to speak to Watsons and things. I think maybe we need to think a little bit more, like we said, about the accountability. Who's going to be in charge of the accountability, which at the moment is going to be Ron, because he's the one going to be asking for the information and things that we
Accountability
need.
is Watson's, yeah.
The next one was legal, which I think we don't have anybody for that yet at the moment. So I think that's just an open one at the minute.
We need to ask the members, has anybody got any expertise in that area?
I mean,
Well,
we need to get.
I've got a business partner that's legally trained, law degree LPC. But I mean, again, it's. I mean, certainly coming. I've given cursory information before. It's how much are we needing on what
Okay.
areas and stuff.
Well, maybe if you want to look at that, James, and see if there's if he can help us for now with anything that we may ask from a legal point of view.
The
and then
legal things is the Jones situation to make sure we've got it and it's not progressing. That was it section
20.
Dispensation.
I think, James, yeah, Paul, you're frozen.
Hello, you hear me?
No, James, you're fine. It's Paul that's frozen.
I'm still frozen.
Oh.
No, you're not.
No, you've just come loose.
I think, James, what I'm saying is, I think if we can get input from your guy, great. I think there are certain elements that are urgently needed, such as the EWS 1 situation, where it's probably very specialised.
He's given a load of information on that tonight, sent
Yeah.
over. Well, yeah,
Right,
I mean,
let's
it's
have a
pretty
look
much
at
that.
shall we?
It was very comprehensive, that actually, James. It put a lot of time into that.
Yeah, but well, about a good 10 hours on working that.
Yeah, appreciate
I
it.
didn't get your email, James. I'm sorry.
I replied
Well,
to, I think I replied to
I'm
Jane,
not.
and then it went.
The next one was accounting. Are we going to ask Feroz about the accounting one?
On the
And Nick,
accounting
Nick's
one,
keen
yeah,
to
I
go
think-
through contracts and stuff.
No, it's not. Well, I'm not talking about contracts. I'm talking about money.
Accounts.
Yeah,
Accounts.
Ferrell said
We
it.
need,
For
We
us,
need an
whoever go with
accountant
that,
type
I do
person.
I do think we should look at involving Zia Saeed. I think for us is going to be very, very good at the bigger picture stuff. I think Zia's quite a bit focused on getting into
yeah.
little knickknacks and
But
gritty
who's going to
things.
manage Zaid?
Well,
for Raziel?
I would propose introducing Zia and Saeed to each other and seeing how that relationship develops and who can work what. Zia's very keen to be involved. He doesn't want to be on the directors, but he's very keen to be involved and has already given some information this week about alternate accountants for the approving the accounts for 2021.
So
Could I just make a
I missed who you
suggestion?
were going to put him in contact with.
Sorry, say again?
I missed who you were putting him in contact with.
For us.
For us, right?
And obviously everyone else here in copy, if you all agree to that.
Well,
Yeah.
could I just ask a question here? The money, the accounts are probably one of the most important things. And I do think, because Feroz isn't here tonight, that a meeting should be arranged that we can all attend to have a short chat with Feroz about where he aims to go, because I think we all need to be aware of that, whether it's sometime next week, whether everybody attends or not, I don't know, but I just think we should have a platform just to talk about the money side and what his plans are.
Who's signing off the checks at the moment? Who's approving the bills?
At the moment, from the meeting on Friday, and forgive me because I don't think this is actually minuted, but
No.
there are Ian again is supposed to confirm all this to us. There are cost control measures allegedly in place where we are supposed to sign off as a board of directors any spend over a certain amount, but he was going to come back to us and confirm the details, and he hasn't.
Well, we
And
should
then-
issue him an edict straight away saying no more than £100 can be spent without 2 members of the board signing it off.
I believe it was set to £1,000. I
I
wanted
think
it
it's a-
lower.
do
I
it-
wanted it-
Yeah, that needs to be reduced, I think, imminently.
And we
Well,
need to put that in the letter to Watson's to say the new board has limited your discretionary spend to £100, 250, basically nothing.
Yeah, and
500.
also, Paul, and also Carl, sorry, and Paul, from well, everybody, from what I remember, you said, Carl, didn't you, that what they do is if there's a £3,000 bill, they send them 3 cheques of 1,000 to get round it.
But this is where Luxembourg Council proved prudent in that aspect. They were very similar sounding jobs within about a 5-day period, 7 days. So it'd be like.
Well,
it's
they won't be
happened to
doing that,
about
will they, going
£2,500.
forward?
That's why you make it £100 and they can't, it's 30 payments. And
So when whoever reviews accounts and contracts and such, that can be traced and they can be accountability held, or it might disprove, it might be separate things, but until we get someone who's more in the know looking through it, we can't really say either way. So we need to be proving what we're saying or what we're assuming. We can't be.
I think,
making
sorry,
assumptions.
I think there's 2 aspects here, the historic side and what we do going forward.
yeah, I
So-
just think it's for an emergency.
Yeah.
It's an emergency proposition for me to, with immediate effect. Watson's cannot approve discretionary payment of more than £100.
It'll cost them more than that to get in the van. Paul.
That's the point.
I'd say 250.
Why?
I'm
don't
saying-
get much-
We might get like
No, you don't.
messages every day where they just try to bombard us. But I mean, I'm happy for 100. It's just when I said 250 last time, the rest went £1,000, and that
Yeah,
was that.
but let's move past what happened last time.
Yeah,
We need
yeah.
to establish a value we're all happy with. So 100 in my mind, I'll be honest, it sounds like we're going to be fucking flooded. We're never
Yeah.
going to keep up with stuff. It's going to be too
250.
much work, and we're going to cause further delays. I think 250 is a reasonable level.
And we can
That's
review
my
it.
opinion.
Yeah.
What's everyone else think?
Yeah,
I
250.
250.
Nick?
I would say 100, because at least that way you get an idea of what they're pissing money away on. If they're having to pay an electrician to come and change 2 light bulbs and it's charging 150 quid, then I'd like to know. 'Cause
Yeah.
But are they
we
going to
could
start
change 2 light-
charging us? Sorry, Nick, but are they then going to start charging us for all the times they have to email us to get an approval?
They can't charge that. That's part of the management fee. It has to be.
But if it becomes excessive,
But we need to clarify, don't we?
We probably need to ask that question, but in principle, show of hands for 100.
Go on, Nick, I'll go with that.
Do you know what? I'm going to do a bit of a U-turn. I'll go with 100.
Even if we up it in a month, if we get
Yeah.
a month's worth of invoices and we can see what they're spending money on.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah,
rather have
that's-
really, really tight reins on it, just for a really short time, so we can see what they're spending money on.
Completely agree.
James, we obviously can't see your hand.
Well, I'll roll with that. I'm happy with that. Anything that restricts them, yeah.
So that's.
All right, that's a
100.
majority, then go with
In
it.
favour.
Far, that's majority.
okay.
Can we make
Procurement
sure-
was the next one.
Sorry,
I think-
Jane, can we make sure it's minutes, because this is one thing leaseholders want to see is who's voted what way.
Yeah, I put down all approved.
Yeah.
And it's with the approval of 2 directors, any 2 directors. Because if Ron's out the country and they need to get hold of him and he's up a mountain, then it might be Nick. You know, and I'm bribable.
Make it 3 then.
Was that an off the record or a minuted comment?
Don't admit that.
I haven't written it down, Paul, you're fine.
Right, procurement.
Procurement. Do we want to make a decision on that, bearing in mind where we are, or do we want to leave that for a little bit till we know a little bit more as to who
I don't
gets
think
that?
we-
Leave that. I want to leave it for now.
Okay. Facebook page, do I really want to say it? I think it's the least of our worries at the moment.
Yeah.
I
Maybe.
agree, it's a low priority. I've messaged Crawford saying, can we get rid of Vicky? He's been in contact with her. We haven't had feedback. It's a low priority for me, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think we leave
Could
it
I
till another
just
meeting
say
further on.
though,
We can move it on to the next one.
can I
Hang on,
just say
Sally,
very
Sally,
quickly though,
Sally.
can I just say very quickly that now we are a board, we have got to be a little bit more discerning, a little bit more tactful on our Facebook and our WhatsApp messages, because we are supposed to rise above it. So let's try and keep it calm and professional.
Yeah.
And do we want to do any more business?
I have a quick one. I think it would be prudent for us to actually arrange the time for the open forum meeting. We promised leaseholders we'd do this at least once a month if possible. And I know it's a tall order, but I think we struggled this week organising this meeting. I'd like to be able to pencil a date in that we can put out in the covering email for the open forum meeting. It
At the
needs
end of the, in another
I'd
3
like to
weeks.
add date of next meeting,
Sorry?
date of next board meeting.
No,
No, we're doing leaseholder meeting first,
open
Paul.
Forum.
Right.
Open forum where leaseholders ask us questions.
Stuart, I think it's a bit too soon, because at the moment they'd have loads of questions for us and we don't have many answers and we'd look a bit daft. I think
Well-
just leave it a couple of weeks and then arrange it and give them a week's notice.
It's got to be
Agree with you, Nick.
first.
From our point of view though, we could always put, shall we pencil it in for
Well, just-
about 3 weeks time?
That makes
Ju-
sense.
Just put it in that email, Jane, to leaseholders, say that when we've got enough information to satisfy their
We'll start our
inquiries.
first one.
Yep. As Nick says, we don't know anything at the moment.
Just to be clear, there's no conflicts of interest at present. No one's entered this with a conflict of interest, have they? Just so we can
No.
sign that one off.
I think we've all got to pick.
50% share in Watson's.
I actually, one of my problems, I've got a backlog of fees I haven't paid, but I am sorting it out in the next 2-3 weeks. I've just had to rearrange some more money.
Well, okay, so I haven't paid, not because any other reason than I've
I
been
can't pay.
that I've been requesting for nearly 12 months, and due a what's it for a leak going back 3-4 years here. So now there's a bit of it again, an issue here, because I'm again, you're saying I don't have to tell you, but this is obviously your personal things don't matter, but they kind of do here because I am sort of still going for Watson's. I don't. What, sorry?
Ross has just rejoined the meeting.
I'm
Who else?
really sorry, guys. I have got to go pick Fern up. I don't want to study middle of Lockwood on her own.
No, that's fine.
Can
If there's
somebody
anything
please
else-
carry on the minutes for me? I'm really sorry.
Don't
I'm
worry,
doing the
no, that's
transcript, so
absolutely fine.
hopefully I can just send that to you anyway.
Thank you. I do apologise.
Thanks, Jane.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Right.
Right.
So just as a quick recap there for the point of view of the minutes, and it is transcribing as I speak. Well, it was. Now it's stopped. Oh, okay. So not sure what's going on with the transcript. Okay, so I'll make a note of it somewhere. There's a slight conflict of interest on behalf of Paul Taylor and James because of an ongoing service charge payment dispute with Watson's. Is that a fair statement?
Well,
I can't afford it.
mine is an ongoing requirement to see, which I think we all want, so I suppose it does cross over. I am demanding that I see, or I can go down and inspect receipts.
Okay, we can put, I mean, are you guys
Now,
happy for the exact way you phrased it to be put in the minutes, or would you rather keep an element of privacy? What do you guys
I
do in the minutes?
I'm
I
not
don't
bad.
think Stephen-
Fine with
Well,
me.
You know, in this letter that we're going to put together, after Sally's given me, put all your inputs in, why don't we just say we want one of our representatives to attend Watson's, i.e. James.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we can clear up that matter. Yeah, with the and that works perfectly, doesn't it?
And to be honest, if Watson's continued to refuse your participation, James, then they're shooting themselves in the foot. And again, this is partly what I want leaseholders to understand. Give us a bit of time. Give Watson's enough rope. They'll hang themselves.
The key thing is we might have to sue them, because if they acted appropriately, then they are liable.
Well, well, I mean, I think I mean, this is part of my, as far as I'm concerned, when we start digging, this is what we're going to kind of find. But yeah, great. All right.
Are we going to have a date for the next meeting sorted?
Yeah. Do you want to do something next week? Did somebody say?
Well, all I was saying was, I think really we should
Aye.
be talking to Feroz about the accounts.
Yeah.
That's if
So
we get them.
maybe we should ask him when he's available, and if 3 or 4 people are available to be on the platform with him at that time, we'll go ahead with that.
Okay. Sounds like an idea for us. What's your availability? You're muted.
Evening, guys. Sorry, I had an emergency to attend to. One of the client systems was down, which affected the global procurement system. So the potential losing millions. I had to just jump on the call and try and fix it. And I fixed it now over an hour now. So apologies for that. Yeah, I'm actually in Holland at the moment, so I did say in the request for the meeting that I'll be able to join, but I was all planned to join, and then I got this literally half an hour before. So anyway, the pressure's off now. I'm home next from Thursday. I'm all home next week, so yeah, just book in the time anytime. You guys sort of meeting face to face, or are you just going to do it online?
It's been Teams.
It's on Teams, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm happy either way.
Would you want to do it next Thursday? Week on Thursday?
Yeah, no problem. Thursday's fine.
Yeah. Well, when is it? Sorry.
1st of June.
What time?
Oh, I'm travelling to Egypt that day, but
We might get better reception.
probably can't commit to that day.
Why don't we try? Well, if Feroz is available for a lot of next week, we're not confined to Thursday. Why don't we look at Wednesday?
Yeah.
Or why don't we
that's
say a
fine.
week today?
Yeah, okay.
Tuesday, 8:30 UK time.
So
Why
what date
not?
was that?
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday?
Yeah.
No, I can't do Tuesday.
Tuesdays have to be after 8 for me anyway.
Should we aim for Wednesday at 6 o'clock then?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
31st.
And penciling in, although we're not going to advertise it, penciling in the first open forum, should we say the last Sunday in June?
Sorry, just to go back to the next week's meeting, on the Wednesday, I'll be driving at 6 o'clock until about 6:30. Tuesday I could do, Thursday I could do, but Wednesday I'm driving.
Could we do 7?
Yeah. Well, I could definitely do 6:30, but just 6 o'clock I couldn't.
Okay.
6:30.
6:30, then that
Yeah.
works. Open session, are we said to say the last Sunday in the next month? Just pencil it in for now.
What's the open session, Stuart? What's that about?
The open session is where we have an online, where we invite tenants and leaseholders to come and ask us questions.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah.
It's something that I know there was limited pickup last time, but people keep asking for it.
Is Sunday a good day? I'm not sure Sunday's that good.
Sunday's
good
not
a
a-
day.
Sunday's not good for me.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, should
I
we
think
go
that-
with we could do the Thursday, the 29th of June?
Let me just look at the calendar, hold on.
But we don't need to confirm it now. Last week in June.
Well, let's go for Thursday the 29th. If people are missing, it's fine.
That's fine, because there'll be some of us available and we can at least answer some questions.
Yeah.
It doesn't require all of us.
No.
What time?
Let's go with 7 o'clock UK time.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Fine. Okay, brilliant. And then when we've had the meeting on Wednesday, we need to set the next date for the next board meeting.
Yeah.
Right. Okie dokie. Oh, and breathe.
Thank God for that.
Well, for us is here, should we just ask him what we would say when we're divvying out jobs? Looking at the accounts, it was suggested for us that you would do that, but obviously we couldn't speak for you.
Yeah, it's fine. Just which how many years are we going back? Are we looking at 3, 5 years, 2 years? How many? I suggest at least 3 years minimum. Then I can get a comparative then.
I think 3 years is good. I think you probably have your work cut out getting hold of and making sense of all the information. I think Ian may have even suggested that we wouldn't have access to beyond that, but we should have, because it's our bloody company. So
Yeah, but don't hold your breath on that, because they'll want to hide stuff anyway now.
We can't go beyond when the board was formed. So the board was only formed 3 and 4 years ago. So that's where we go from.
Yeah,
To be honest,
Three
it's currently available based on the system going back about 6 years. But I think 3 years is, let's be honest, it's the last 3 years where things got out of control. I think 3 years.
Exactly. That's why I suggested 3 years. Let's look at
perfect.
investigating the last 3 years. Yeah.
Since the new board, since the management company took over.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Right.
I guess for us, then you probably need to coordinate a little bit with Metcalf regarding, and whoever else we said, whether it was Ron or whoever, getting access to Watson's officers. Jane will obviously administer that as company secretary and coordinate with you all.
yeah, just let me know who to speak to, and I'll start pushing with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you
Thank
need
you.
support for account purposes,
Yeah.
Tia Saeed has offered his services as well.
Good.
He's
Okay. Yeah.
similar background to yourself, and he doesn't want to be on the board, but he's quite keen to delve in and help out.
Yeah, it'd be good to
us,
set about it. Yeah.
Could also recommend some communication with Sally, who's frozen. Her husband was trying to help the board and he couldn't get any answers, particularly
Right.
referring to VAT, what happened to it, and certain other contracts. So he's certainly worth utilising to an extent.
Yeah,
He-
good.
Yeah, you can have it.
Knowledge.
Tony's here and available for a chat whenever you want that. So yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I spoke to him at the barbecue and he was very good.
Okay. So can somebody just send me some names and who I can contact and how, and then I can start that board, because I'm obviously new kid on the block here. I don't know many
Perfect.
people.
I'll send you Tony's details.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Emails, all that sort of thing will do, and I'll kick it off then.
Perfect.
Brilliant.
Start talking to people. Yeah.
Before we wrap up, I did say I would ask. I'm not sure whether it's appropriate or not. Julie and Joan have asked if we could allow them in to the meeting for 5 minutes just to give the feedback on what's going on so far. Not in terms of everything we've discussed here, but in terms of the feedback they're getting from other leaseholders of what's been sort of seen and how we're coming across. Do you want to do that or not? I can get in touch with them and tell them to join the Teams link, or I can get hold of them on phone, or if we decide it's not appropriate, that's also.
I don't understand. I mean, I'm happy for them to do that, but I can't understand how we're coming across, because as yet we've only been in a week.
I'm with you on this.
I don't understand that.
Give a bit of breathing space. But what's the
I'll tell you
feeling
what,
you
can we
guys
do that
available
at the
now?
beginning of the meeting next week that we're having? I just think we're all a bit knackered now, to be honest.
Yeah, it's fair enough. I think that's reasonable. I mean, we have gone on for 2 hours, and yeah, okay, that's reasonable. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I'd like to accept what they're saying, but to be honest, I'm just ready for bed.
Another feeling.
Yeah, but if
What's
they
this-
can,
the-
we'll
is
say
this-
let's give them 10 minutes at the start of the next meeting.
Yeah.
So what's the purpose of that? Just to give us some feedback, is it, on what the leaseholders are saying?
I think leaseholders are very concerned. Well, the feedback we're getting is leaseholders are a bit concerned that we've been a bit slow. Now, we've discussed this at length tonight anyway, and there's a feeling, I think we all feel that actually, guys, it's been a week. Give us a bit of breathing space. Give us a bit of time to look at
And we're
things.
volunteers.
Yeah.
We can't
And
say,
also,
"Well,
we'll be
we
sending
go,"
an
we can't
email
say
out
that.
to them in the next couple of days as well. So
Yeah.
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 But
Okay.
we can't say we're volunteers because then they are going to outright slate us and say you're saying the same thing as the old board.
Yeah.
We need to be careful how we phrase things.
Well, it's not,
Yeah,
it's not a case of saying bear with us, we're rubbish. It's a case of saying bear with us. There's a lot to get through. There's a lot of skeletons in the closet and we are digging deep. So give us a bit of time and we'll get it sorted. It's in the right hands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Give us the time. Just
Okay.
So, but when are we scheduled to create this this plan? Because that's what they really want to see, is set that vision. What are our plans? What's our strategy to go forward? And I think if you give them that, then you can start carving out that plan slowly. Yeah.
Well, I
But
think-
if you can just say to them, yeah, we're just being elected in, fine. Yes, they know that they need to give us time. But I think if you just do a quick update to say, hey guys, bear with us, but we are in the middle of creating a plan. We want to know how to work this. What are our key milestones? Yeah. But yeah, I think that's just leave it at that.
Yeah,
think
well,
just
we're
a
sending
quick-
out details of our meeting for us for
Right.
tonight.
Okay.
And we've got minutes from the meeting with Watson's and minutes from the AGM. But what we are going to say is we've uncovered lots of things and it's all very worrying. So we've got to get our heads around it. But we are going out to 5 different companies to come in, management companies, and we're seeing them in the next few weeks to come and tender for the job. So we're on with that. So please bear with us. But you've obviously seen the minutes from the meetings, and we were shocked for us to see that we haven't paid the insurance premium. I've mentioned it, and that if we do pay the insurance premium, we've got no money in reserve. And I just think that's a massive, massive issue that the previous directors actually never thought about bringing to our attention.
If you want a business plan writing up quickly, short, because I don't like long ones, I'll write it up as a business plan. So as a document, you could circulate to members where we are now, where we're hoping to go, and the sorts of things we're doing to get there.
I think the head of terms that you've already done,
Yeah,
if you just put that out to them and said, this is what we want to evolve over the next few months as well,
exactly.
should
Yeah.
keep them happy. For us, for your info, we did ask for the cash flow position and found out that we've got, well, fuck all money. Separate to that, we asked for a 12-month cash flow forecast, and they said they produced that, but they've produced nothing so far. But we are chasing them. But in short, as Sally said, we've got a cash flow problem presently. We can't pay the insurance. That should resolve itself in the next few months once the second set of payments go in. But I think we also need to be advising leaseholders. Actually, this is something we need to put out there as a question. Do we all need to be advising leaseholders? Actually, if you're on a 6-month arrangement, you need to drop to a monthly payment, because we plan on getting rid of Watson's in 1 month, 2 month, 3 month. They're going to get that money. We'll never get it back out of them.
Yeah, it's true.
But if we do
Something
that,
to
we're
think about,
further hampering the cash flow. We're further causing a cash flow problem. So I think we always need to present 2 cash flow forecasts for a 12-month period.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to ring-fence that somehow. Otherwise, like you say, it's very difficult to pay something and get money back. It's very difficult to do it that way.
But very quickly, we also said tonight that we're only going to allow them to spend £100 discretionary. Anything over £100 has to come through 2 board signatures.
Yeah, so this is what I'm saying, is that we need a plan. We need to put the controls in place. We need processes here. And I think before we do start saying that we're going to, tender out the management companies, all that, we need us as a team to plan all that first and get our heads together, saying, and it doesn't have to be difficult. Keep it simple, guys. Don't go to the finer degree, the nth degree.
We've got to set a headline points that we
Just
can
headline
work.
points. Yeah, that's all we need. You're
Let's get that circulated.
Let's get
Well,
that
if Paul can draw something up and circulate it, and everybody's happy with that, we can put that out to everybody.
Yeah, and let's not use the word promise. Yeah, I think that's where it's going to hit us now. Let's not promise anything, but in our headline, we say we're going to do something, and we don't hit that deadline. We're going to look like fools here. Yeah. So at the moment, let's not start running. We're going to walk first. Start putting a plan together here. And it's just, there has to be a simple plan, then we can then grow that afterwards.
Yes.
Okay. But,
Perfect.
otherwise, you know what's going to happen, guys. You know, we're going to look like fools here. Yeah.
We've got
Okay.
a hard job ahead.
Yes, there is a lot of work there. I mean, I was expecting the accounts to be, I didn't expect the reserve to be sort of to that level, but yeah, I was expecting it to be, yeah, pretty not flush. Yeah.
Horrifying.
Is that everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hopefully,
bye.
hopefully we'll have some answers from Watson's by then.
Yeah.
Cheers now.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye. Bye. Bye.